Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
And what is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Golden Octagon, and the show is changed to Cheddar. Just like every single pay-per-view, we are here to give you every single one of my bets from prelims on up, all of the information that I've gained throughout the week. And because it is the first pay-per-view of the year, I have called in the big guns, if you will. Someone that I've watched ever since I started betting MMA. And it's truly an honor to have him on here. You may know him from either one of his Friday shows, the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In Show, or the Sharp Action Report, maybe even from his Thursday show, the Total Takedown, or from what I've known him from, the longest, the Die Hard MMA podcast. Welcome none other than Clint to the show. How you doing, brother?
TGO, what's going on, man? You have been in my DMs and in the comment section of my videos for freaking ever. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm pumped. Thank you for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah, it's truly an honor to have you here, Clint. Yeah, just a little backstory so everyone kind of knows how I came across you back before it was, I guess, legal to bet in Virginia. I used to bet on what was it called? MyBookie.ag way back in the day, you know, and then I finally won something and then I tried to cash out and you had to do it like to a crypto. It was like the worst hassle in the world. So after that, I was like, I need to just wait. And in 2020, sports betting became legal. And I used to watch Clint's show on his actual channel. And it was just for a few weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks. And then he just disappeared and I couldn't find him. And a few months later, I discovered him coming across a channel called Pub Sports Radio. So that is where Clint is stationed at now. So yeah, just happy to have Clint on here. And it's truly a blessing to have you on here, brother.
It's awesome, man. I love the story and I love the run that we've been on together. And the people don't know you're not just the average listener or fan of the podcast or anything. We've been DMing back and forth for quite some time. So I know you pretty well already. And it's awesome, man. I love this kind of stuff. Anytime I really always try to, like, especially people like you that have been running with me for so long, anytime I get the invite, I try to make sure I make it happen. So I'm pumped to talk about these fights with you tonight. I'm pumped to talk about this awesome card and just blessed, man. Thank you so much again for having me on the show tonight. I'm excited.
Hell yeah, man. So right before we get into the fights as a whole, I like to shout out the chat, so let's get into it. We got Lush Lomain, one of our loyal members in here. I'm so ready for this change of Cheddar. Appreciate it stopping by, Lush. You are the man. We got Austin in here, another member. Let's go. Appreciate it, brother. We got Austin. I predict Match GF is a special guest. What do you guys think? Austin is not correct, but Lush is correct. I was going to say Clint or Wheezy, and indeed, he is correct. I'll get Wheezy on here one day. I need to know how to get into contact with Wheezy, not through Twitter or X. I'm so bad at that. I've never used it. I have one now, but I've tried to DM and it's like it just doesn't work for me. Instagram just works so much better, and Uncle Weasley does not have an Instagram. So I'll figure out a way to get Weasley on here one day. Matt with the Friday Night Banger live stream. Appreciate you stopping by here, Jim Card Collecting. Unless Matt's GF is a him, I'm wrong indeed. Lush Lomain with the Clint. Indeed. And good guess, Lush. Should have bet it. Matt also introduced me to the Die Hard MMA MMA channel. Straight heat, baby. Yeah, Lush is that guy. Lush is that guy. Clint got me into, I guess, understanding how to the odds. I didn't understand odds at all. And then he was like, maybe you should look at props. And that's when I really started deep diving into props. And we'll take a few tonight. We'll take a look at a few tonight. So with our last comment in here, appreciate you guys. True Vision T West. I appreciate you stopping by here, brother. So that's all of them. So with that being said, let's jump into the first fight of the night, and we'll give you our picks all the way up, prelims to the main card, and then I'll give you my personal bets. That I don't have too many bets this week, but you guys know how I bet. I don't bet a lot. And at the end of the show, I've got 2 change to cheddar parlays, $5 each, to give us more than $100. One's like 187, and then the second one is over 1,000. So that's if we're real lucky this week. So with that being said, let's jump into the first fight of the night. I had to share the screen. I'm bad at that. And Clint, I apologize in advance if I accidentally hit back on the page that we're currently on, and you're on here for a second. I'll pop back in here.
No sweat, man. No sweat.
It happens from time to time. I occasionally click back on the wrong page. So up first fight of the night, we have none other than Jimmy the Brick Flick taking on Malcolm X Gordon. And Malcolm X Gordon was one of our, I believe, 2 weight misses, counting 3 if you want to count Priscilla Cachoeira, because she never makes weight. But 2 of our official weight misses, Malcolm X Gordon missed weight. What was it, by a pound and a half? Like, it wasn't anything crazy, was it, Clint?
I believe he came in at 37 and a half. So
okay.
Yeah, pound and a half.
Yeah. So pound and a half. But man, I did. This one is so. This fight is so hard for me to judge, simply because you've kind of been saying this all week. Both fighters are not durable at all, but I guess they both have their path to victory, if you will. But if it comes to just being on the feet, then Malcolm Gordon definitely has the advantage there. But is it a minus 205 advantage currently? It's hard for me to say. I'm personally not going to be betting this too much in many of my parlays, because that's basically all I do, because I can't afford to bet hundreds and thousands of dollars like the majority of people do. I'm over here doing this for fun, and I've gotten lucky multiple times now, so at least I can use my knowledge and try to share it with everyone else. I'm personally not going to be having this one in many of my parlays, but if you ask me, I got this maybe going into the late second round. Give me Malcolm Gordon to end up knocking out Jimmy Flick. Clint, do you have an opinion on this fight? You have to forgive me, because I have not watched your undefeated weigh-in show. I did watch the Sharp Action Report, but I haven't gotten around to watching your undefeated yet.
No sweat. Undefeated is good today. I'll tell you that much.
Perfect.
It's a good one today. But we're not here to regurgitate everything I've ever said to your listeners. So of course I've got thoughts on this fight, man. I don't think I've ever seen Jimmy Flick in this good a shape. I'll be honest with you. He looks absolutely spectacular right now compared to what we usually see from him. And as fragile as both of these guys are, I do not understand the line. Like, it makes no sense to me to have Malcolm Gordon being a minus 200 favorite. I get it. I picked Malcolm Gordon to win myself, but everyone and their mother apparently seems to be on the minus 110 that is Malcolm Gordon, and it's driven it so far that now the only way I could look to bet it would be Jimmy Flick. And I know that sounds crazy because I'm picking the other guy, but at a certain point, the number just does not make sense. And I think Flick is the better grappler. So if both these guys want to grapple, and if Malcolm doesn't have the kind of one-hitter quitter power that you need to put Flick away, we could end up in a sketchy grapple situation. And especially if Jimmy Flick gets on top, that's where he's really, really nasty. He's got I want to say he's got 8 arm triangles on his record. So man, it's tough. I was originally saying Gordon, and maybe even Gordon by decision, just because both these guys want to go kind of risk adverse and not get finished again, that kind of thing. But at plus 170 for a bet, it'd have to be Flick.
Yeah, I don't I don't disagree with you, but do you like the over or the under now at the minus 105 a piece, or I guess minus 125 for the under, but I kind of like the over at 105. Like, it's yeah, your peach hole might be a little lemon if you understand what I'm saying,
Absolutely. No, I'm right there with you that I kind of lean towards the over. The only problem here for me is that man, I kind of think that these I kind of think that these guys could go either which way. They could car crash in round one and it could be over in an instant, but they also could take it nice and slow and drag this thing deep. And if that's the case, I wouldn't be shocked either way. And that's kind of the problem. I hate the 1.5 because I could see it getting out of round one and then ending in like the first exchange of the second round and still going under. And all the over betters are going to be like, so
yeah,
man, it's a
gotcha.
tough one. This is not a fight that I really want to put my money on, if I'm being honest.
I fully understand. I have one play, and I feel like it might be in one of my parlays later. I like the this fight to start round two. Right now you can get this fight to start round two at minus 175. If you're parlaying it up, it ain't the worst number in the world. And do I think either one of these not the best fighters in the world finish the other one in the first round? I don't think it's the highest likely. But we got my guy from our weekly podcast here, D Rose. We got Dorian Rose. I almost put Gordon in a parlay money line. Could it lay the minus 210 for him? Yeah, D Rose. It is scary, my guy. Scary when it comes to betting the lowest level of flyweight in the UFC at a minus 200 favorite. So me and Clint kind of both saying probably shouldn't be betting this fight. We got a nice picture of John Anik. One more sleep, baby. We got Red De La Cruz, and I do not know the other one. Come on. This is Clint, what happened here, dude? What happened? We got Priscilla Cachoeira. Well, this fight was originally scheduled for 125 pounds. I guess I called it earlier in the week that she was not going to make 125 pounds, and she did not make 125 pounds as usual. This fight has taken place at 135, but I think both fighters made 133. So at least it's kind of an even matchup. But I guess I really thought Jazz was going to be a little bit taller. And when it came to the stare down, my confidence faded just a little bit. I have Jazz in tons of parlays, Clint, and now I'm not cashing out because a lot of them are, kind of cut down a few dollars, but not as confident as I was in Jazz earlier in the week. But I know that's one of your biggest plays. You have her parlayed up from last week, but has your thoughts changed at all after the stare downs and the weigh-ins?
Not even a little bit, man. The reason that I set up the parlay the way that I did, sometimes the parlays are just pick the winner. It's bad gambling, but I don't care about the odds. I just want these guys to win, and that's what the parlay is for. Other times, I actually think ahead a little bit, and what I did is I said, look, I think Jazz wins this fight. I think it's a great fight for her, but I don't want minus 400 on her. I'm pretty sure Josh Van wins this week. If I tie her to Van now, that'll get me minus 125 on Jazz. And I like that number a whole hell of a lot better. So this one was more of a premeditated, actual like gambler move to make the line on Jazz what I wanted it to be, as long as I was right on Josh Van. So got lucky last week, got the line I wanted on Jazz going into this fight. And my thoughts haven't changed whatsoever, man. She should style on Priscilla on the ground any way she wants, as long as she goes in there with the right game plan. She also likes to attack the body with like big knees and stuff like that. I could see that kind of wearing on Priscilla. And I also could see Priscilla really come out here and going for broke. I think she missed weight very purposefully. I think she knows that this is the last fight on her contract. She has done some of the most egregious things we've seen in the cage, and they've kept her around anyway. This is a sacrifice. They're saying, look, we're going to put you against our Canadian favorite here and get her a big win because she's worst case scenario for you. So she said, nah, forget you guys. I'm not cutting weight. I'm going to come in and I'm going to take her head off. And that's what she's going to try to do. If that doesn't work, she's going to end up getting finished because she's going to gas out trying to get the kill the way she did against Miranda Maverick. So I think it's just a matter of time, man. As long as Jazz doesn't eat like a death bomb in round one, mind you, she's never been finished. I don't think Jazz is chinny enough for that to work. I think she should go to work on Priscilla and eventually end up getting her out of there.
Hell yeah, sounds good, Clint. I am with you the same way. I have Jazz by 3 or decision in I think 1 or 2 parlays, and I'm hoping that's the way it goes. But it wouldn't surprise me if she got Priscilla out of there, as you said, maybe in a crucifix a little bit earlier in the week, because that wouldn't surprise me too much either, because she does like that position. And we got my guy D Rose saying Zombie Girl is a champ and not making weight. Indeed. I remember one fight. I think it was going to be Priscilla Cachoeira versus who is it? Sarge Eubanks. I'm like, that fight ain't even happened. Neither one of them are going to even make weight, and that fight end up not even happening. If you're not cheating,
scheduled at 155 to have a shot.
yeah, probably. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. That is Priscilla Cacha cheating for the most part. Yeah, me and Clint both on Jesuda Vicious this weekend. Okay, and here we go. This one up next. I'm planting my flag here, Clint. Me and you might be on a different side here, and I'm willing to talk about. We got Sam Patterson moving up to 170 to take on none other than the White Lion, Johan Lanus. I forgot his name, even though his name is basically Lion. Anyway, yeah, Johan Lanus taking on Sam Patterson, and Sam Patterson looks like he might have an inch or two height advantage, but in my opinion, he doesn't look like he put on any size from when he fought at 155. So that kind of throws me off a ton. Johan Lanus, a way just bigger body overall. And just like last week, Clint, a lot of people were, kind of back and forth. Do I pick Phil Halls? Do I pick Bruno Ferreira? I planted my flag. The only bet that I won last week was Bruno Ferreira round 1 knockout. I put $15 on it, and it won for 50. So I can't be mad at that. That one bet saved us because we bet $80 in total. And so we're only down about $30 last week from Bruno Ferreira saving us. This is the same this week. I'm planting my flag. I don't think Sam Patterson's got a good chin. And Johan Lanus may gas out after the first round, but I think that he gets Sam Patterson out of there early. I think Johan Lanus knocks out Sam Patterson in the first round. Which way are you going here, man? And do you have any bets here?
Yeah, man. So you and I are head-to-head on this one. I've got Sam Patterson plus 130. I like the move up to 170 for him. I would disagree ever so slightly. I know it doesn't look like he beefed up a ton, but you look at his old pictures, and man, he was skinny. Like, he was way sucked out. He looks far, far healthier here in this one. And I think you don't want to overcorrect and pile on muscle and then have a hard time cutting weight at a new weight class up, an extra 15 pounds and still be struggling. So I think he did it the right way. Honestly, he looks real good to me. And the biggest area where you can see the improvement, not that it necessarily matters, long term, but it's his abs, man. Like, you can see those things popping way harder than they used to when he was fighting a weight class below. So he's definitely done some work. He's definitely put on some physicality. Whether or not he'll be able to match the physical nature of Lanus, I don't know. We'll find that part out on Saturday. But the big thing for me is that, yeah, Johan Lanus might be able to touch him and bank him and knock him out straight away. But if he doesn't, he's going to tire. And I know Patterson has the better gas tank. It's not a question. He, without a doubt, has the better gas tank. So I think if he can just avoid that one kill shot within the first 2-3 minutes, he should win the fight kind of however he wants to. So I'm rolling the dice on the dog here. I know we're all a little on the same page as far as being scared about his durability and such, but man, how many times have we seen these young kids, slip up in their UFC debut and then look like $1 million the next time around with a lower level of competition? I think he just made a mistake against Yanel Ashmoz. He's looked pretty good in his career prior to that. And going up against Johan, I'm sorry, if you're not prepared for the blitz in round 1, fire your coaching staff. He should know exactly what he's up against here. And if he's not prepared for it, then take my money, I guess.
Yeah, I think my personal worry here in betting Sam Patterson is him being Reese McKee V2 for the most part. Like, have we seen this already? If he loses again, like he kind of might be Reese McKee V2 after that. But yeah, me and Clint head to head here. I'm on Johan Lanus. Clint is on Sam Patterson. And I don't know if we'll be head to head here, Clint, but I don't like the line, so I might have to go the opposite way. We do have Dama de Fera, Polyana Viana. Who doesn't love Polyana Viana? And then she is going to be taking on, of course, they take a bunch of pictures of her while they're at it because UFC loves her clearly as well. She's going to be taking on none other than the Savage, Jillian Robertson, and I'm hoping Clint has his hat at least close by. Julian the Savage Robertson, making a little heart up there. Clint is without a doubt Jillian Robertson's #1 fan as they face off here. There we go. Find the face-off picture. Looks like Polyana Viana might have an inch or two height advantage. Clint, there is a big difference in the way Jillian Robertson looked. There we go. There's a big difference in the way Jillian Robertson looked this morning compared to when I saw her at the ceremonial weigh-ins. This morning, I was like, oh no, she's already super white, but I mean, it's like, it was like she was kind of like knocking on death's door this morning. And I was like, oh, and the line is -245, Jillian. And it's like, she probably wins the fight, but do I feel comfortable at betting her at -250 to win the fight? I don't know. I think because of the line specifically, I have to go Polyana Viana. She is a little bit bigger, and I guess that threw me off because, Jillian Robertson moving down, I guess I just expect her to be bigger than all the girls, and she just didn't look good this morning. How does she recover? And if Polyana Viana has one thing that Jillian Robertson doesn't have, it's a little bit of pop in her punches. I know she's not, knocking out everyone, but Jinu Fry never been knocked out before Polyana Viana smoked her in about 15 seconds. So could we see that again? I doubt it. But one thing I don't like about Polyana Viana is when they fought the similar opponent of Tabitha Ricci, and Polyana Viana just laid on her back and the whole fight, and then Tabitha Ricci just kicking her legs the whole time. I just was like, I had a bet on her in that fight too, and I was just screaming, "Get up!" But yeah, that they end up not playing out, and then Tabitha Ricci ended up winning over Jillian Robertson in her last fight. Clint, I think me and you might be going head-to-head on this one. I might be going Polyana Viana here. I don't think she finishes Jillian Robertson. I don't think either one of these girls ever been finished, but I do think Polyana Viana has finished all of her wins, and Jillian Robertson maybe finished all of them but one or something like that. Yeah, it's just super close fight. If they can't finish each other, who's going to win? I don't know. I have one bet on this fight. It is my only single Draftkings bet this week. It is this fight to go to split decision at +700. I put $10 on it to win $80. And Clint, I'm surprised. As I said, I haven't listened to your undefeated yet, but if you haven't said it, I'm surprised you haven't said it, because you'll usually point out little props like that. But I was like, I don't know if his fandom might be shading the split decision. Jillian to win by split decision is only +900 though. So I was like, I'll just take the +700. It's only 200 difference there. And I was like, yeah. But I guess give me your thoughts here, brother.
Yeah, so you and I definitely will be going head-to-head on this one in more than one way. So I am on Jillian. I locked in a parlay with her a little earlier in the week. She was closer to the -200 ballpark. She's sitting as high as -300 now. And I can fully admit that that's probably a little bit out of control. However, this fight is exactly like the Jasudavicius fight, where it's a wonderful stylistic matchup for her. Polyana Viana does not defend takedowns. And actually, so here's the thing for the split decision. I'm actually looking at adding the under 2.5. Rather than doubling down on Jillian. I feel like an under bet is almost a hedge on Polyana Viana maybe pulling the upset. This girl has a 100% finish rate. She has never won a fight that she has not finished. Polyana Viana has lost by decision 4 times, and she's been submitted twice. So at the UFC level, the only people that are beating her are either grinding on her or finishing her. Jillian Robertson, and I love me a good dog shot. I will never talk anybody out of big plus money, so don't think I'm trying to do that. But Jillian has never gone to a split in her professional career. If she's winning by decision, it's riding top control, and it's always been unanimously. If she's lost a decision, it's because she can't catch her opponent, and it's always been unanimously. She's been finished twice, knocked out once, submitted once. The one time she got knocked out was to my girl Macy Barber in round 1 way back in the day. And then Mayra Bueno Silva, who challenges for a title tonight, is the only person to submit her. Now, she did get armbarred from bottom, and that's where I think there's a chance Polyana might be able to do the same, because that's kind of her signature move. But I don't think she's anywhere near as dangerous as Mayra Bueno Silva is. On top of that, Jillian was competing at a higher weight class, has since moved down to 115. And Mayra, competing at a higher weight class, has moved up a weight class for 135. So neither of them are in the 125-pound division anymore at this point anyway. I just think that all kind of lines up. Polyana Viana has some pop in her hands. We've seen that bother Jillian. We're in the big cage. If she can't get her down, I could see Polyana cracking her and finishing her with strikes. However, if this thing hits the ground, I think the blueprint is out, that you can take this girl down, you can control her from top, and she gets tired, and she's not a great defensive grappler from bottom. I mean, the Yasmin Lucindu arm triangle, as soon as she decided she wanted a finish, she got it, and she got it with a quickness. I think Jillian's going to have no problem mauling this girl on the mat if she can get it to the floor. So I'm already on Jillian, parlayed up, and then I'm looking to add the under 2.5, which I believe sits at about minus 166, and I plan on adding that this evening for my final card for tomorrow.
Exactly what it is at. Yeah, Clint, you may have talked me into a Jillian Robertson by sub prop. Possibly. I don't know. I don't feel great about this fight. Probably not one that a lot of people should be betting in the first place. Yeah, you kind of have to be a little bit of a degenerate to be betting Polyana Viana versus Jillian Robertson. But hey, we are. Moving on. Here is our big weight miss. Last the weigh-in, missed weight by 4.5 pounds. Ramon Tavares III taking on Siri City. And this is a rematch from Dana White Contender Series this past season, where Siri City absolutely, I don't want to say demolished Ramon Tavares, but knocked him down. It was an early stoppage, yeah, but he still knocked him down, and he would have probably continued to follow up punches with him on the ground, and then the fight would have been over anyway. There's a huge size difference here. I was on Siri City earlier in the week, Clint, and after seeing like the weigh-ins, I feel fantastic about it now. I don't think Ramon Tavares has the size that he needs to be fighting at 135 in the UFC, especially guys this size with length and the power to put him down like he showed that he could have just happened. I got this fight probably not going decision either way, but I got Siri Sydney probably knocking out Ramon Tavares here. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I think this one's kind of dog or pass on the betting line, if I'm being honest. But if there was one fight that I wanted to bet less than the Malcolm Gordon fight, it'd be this one. I have zero interest in putting my money on this fight. I don't know either of these guys. I don't know what they're good at. I don't know what they're bad at. Have not seen enough of them. They're both young. They're both right off Contender Series. I try to fade those people. So, like, yeah. I don't want to play this one at all. I do think that Tavares was having some success on the feet, maybe got a little overconfident, maybe got a little cocky, and that's what got him caught. Obviously, an early stoppage. So if you kind of extrapolate the fight and keep it going, I think he probably finds a way to win. His left hand was really doing work. That's, I think, his best weapon is the speed of that lead left hook. But obviously big height and reach advantage the other way. So yeah, man, that's a long way for me to say I'm zero confidence on this one. I'm kind of picking the dog a little bit, but I'm not going to be putting any money on this fight.
All right, fair enough. Clint, not confident. I am on the series Sydney side. Up next, this one hurts me to say because Sean Woodson, the sniper, one of my favorites. And if you guys didn't know, let me zoom in real quick. He is born ready, and every time he fights, when it's like the fight week, he always like posts up like an Instagram, and I always comment "born ready," and he always likes it, and it's cool. That's what I love about the UFC is because in no other sport can you comment under, a player's post and they'll react to you unless you're Kevin Durant, and he'll react to you in a fake account that's not even his. But anyway, you can actually message and chat with fighters, and I love that about the UFC. And the Sean the Sniper Woodson is one that always likes my post when I comment under them, and he's just such a cool guy. He is massive for 145 pounds. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger. He could probably move up to 155 and be the second tallest fighter there too. But what an odd shape that he has. He is going to be taking on Charles Air Jourdain, another one of my favorites. And I said this I think I said this Monday. This fight scares me because I look at one fight in specific, Clint, and that is the Sean Woodson versus Luis Saldana fight, because I really think Luis Saldana has, I don't want to say the same style as Charles Air Jourdain, but a similar style enough, and Charles is much better in my opinion. And that being said, the knees, the flying kicks, the spinning shit, I think that gives Sean Woodson issues because at heart he is a boxer. He started out as a boxer, and it's bled over into the UFC. He has got decent takedown like defense, but I think if you can maybe switch it up, throw some kickboxing on him with some spinning shit, that gives him some issues. And Sean Woodson is one of my favorite fighters, but this week I gotta go Charles Jourdain to win this fight. It wouldn't surprise me if he finished Sean Woodson, but I'm going Charles Jourdain straight up, even though he's clearly the smaller guy. Look at the head size of the two of these guys, Clint.
Yeah, no, you and I are on the same page here on this one, man. Sean Woodson, I'll be honest with you, I'm just not a believer. I think he's one of those weird guys that's got the wrong build for this, and he's got a massive height and reach advantage. He's 10-1, so I sound crazy saying something like that, but I just think it's going to catch up with him, man. He's 31 years old, and he still isn't even close to like the contender circle. I think as soon as he takes any sort of step up in competition, he's going to get his ass whooped and come right back down the ladder there. So that's more what I mean. He's too tall, he's too long without any substance attached to it. He gets tired. The gas tank is bad. Luis Saldana is a guy that I actually was really high on, but I've said many, many times, he's got maybe the worst fight IQ I have ever seen. And I think you're right that he does have a very similar style to Charles Jourdain. The difference is Charles Jourdain only knows one direction, and that's forward. He doesn't have the IQ problems. He's going to keep pressuring. He's going to keep bullying. He's going to keep attacking. And where Luis Saldana tried to get fancy with a walk-off KO, Jourdain's going to jump on a neck. Like, this guy will make sure you're dead in the octagon rather than let that opportunity at victory slip away. So I'm right there with you. I think it's a Jourdain spot. I think it's Jourdain getting hyped in Canada, and I think it's a bad fight for Sean Woodson. I like the gas tank of Jourdain. I like the aggression of Jourdain. I like the leg kicks of Jourdain, and especially because Sean Woodson has looked like he's been wanting to grapple a little bit more often lately. I like the neck snatching of Charles Jourdain. I wouldn't be surprised if he hurts him and then catches a neck in the second or the third round.
And don't forget that Sparta kick that he put on Andre Ewell at the end. At the end of their fight, too.
Legendary moment, man. Forever, that one will be one that is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So me and Clint both on the same side in Charles Air Jourdain this week. Up next, I really don't know a lot about Garrett Armfield for some reason. I feel like he just looks like every other guy I've seen fight. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. He's going to be taking on Brad Katona. Won the Ultimate Fighter 2 times now, and I feel like we're going to be on the same side here, Clint. And we're probably going to say the exact same thing. Brad Katona is going to do anything that he possibly can to win this fight. Looks like Garrett Armfield doing his best Mike Perry impression right there. But Garrett Armfield, Brad Katona going to do anything that he can to win the fight. He's not, I wouldn't even count on him. If the finish presented itself, I don't even think that he would take it. I don't think that he would try to finish a late night snack. He's going to do the bare minimum to finish a fight. If you look at every fight, besides his last one for the Ultimate Fighter finale, I think he was really trying to get back into the UFC aside from that. But I feel like every fight beside that, he's just doing the bare minimum to win. Clinching, holding on the fence, taking down, just doing punch to the body, one to the head, doing enough to not get stood up. I really think Brad Katona is just the fighter that's probably going to win this fight. But he, as I said, he's going to do just enough to win the fight. Give me Brad Katona to win this fight, 3 or decision. Which way are you going here, Clint?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Couldn't agree more on this one. I also am not overly familiar with Brad Katona's opponent in this spot. I'm not really sure what he's I don't know. Maybe I just haven't done my due diligence enough. Like, I know he's an aggressive knockout artist, but I can't quite pinpoint like what he's great at. You know what I mean? Like, he either finishes you real quick in a hurry in round 1 or what? Like, he got tapped out by David Onama in round 2, and then on the regional scene, another guy, Vogel, he did the same thing to him. So like, I just don't think he can fight if it gets extended against good competition levels. You know, he's not a decision guy. He's only been to decision, I think, twice in his MMA career, and he's 1-1 in those. And looking back at his record here, the guy that he beat in that decision, it was a split decision, and he was 6-3 at the time. Not him. His opponent's Slider was 6-3 at the time, who is 6-4 now. So like, he hasn't gone on to do anything. And if this fight gets extended, Brad Katona knows how to win. That's all I need to know. As long as Brad doesn't get finished early, I think he can do exactly what these guys have done and out-grapple this guy the further down the stretch it goes. It's a late sub or a decision, I think, for Katona.
Fair enough. -225 Brad Katona sounds like a all right parlay piece this week if you're confident in him, as me and Clint are. Moving on along, we do have Movsar Evloev taking on none other than almighty Arnold Allen. And I guess, why does Movsar look weird this week? Did he get a new haircut? I don't know what this is. I don't know.
I think he grew it out a little. Isn't it usually like shorter than that? Maybe because maybe it just, and it might be the little goatee that he's got going there.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I have no clue. We get some ring girls in between Movsar and Arnold Allen there. Arnold Allen up there looking jacked as usual. The back on this guy, it's not quite Punahele Soriano, but it's getting there. You know, he's got a giant back on him. Up there looking nice as Arnold Allen does. This kind of surprised me. I think I suspected them to be around the same height. And Arnold Allen is not only the taller guy, but he is clearly the thicker guy. My thing is, Clint, I don't know if we've seen Arnold Allen fight anyone in the UFC for a while that was a wrestler. I feel like every fighter that he's fought in his past 4 to 5 fights over his I guess he kind of fights around 1 time a year. In the past 5 years, it's just strikers. You got, I know the fight didn't happen, but the Calvin Kattar, like the Max Holloway fight. You've got Sadiq Yusuf in there. I'm probably missing a few more too, but they're all strikers. No one is really trying to take him down. We haven't really seen him tested too much, and because of that, we know what Movsar Evloev's game plan is. He's going forward, and he's going to take you down relentlessly. He's not quite the motor that like that Merab Dvalishvili is, but he's relentless in the same way. He will continue to go for those takedowns, and I have to zoom in. I have to zoom in on this real quick because my guy in his last fight, Diego Lopes, whichever one it is, got a photo with the guy. Clint, I'm roughly 6 foot tall, and Diego, and I'm about 185 pounds. I have to pop this picture up real quick so you could just see the size the size difference in Diego Lopez right there on the right. And
Wow.
there's Alessandro Costa on the left too. Like the fact that that guy makes 145 pounds is
Unreal.
absolutely fucking nuts, dude. Like I was like, holy shit. And after seeing like that and how big he is, I know the fight was close, but Mavsar still got the dub. And I just have to go Mavsar because of that reason. I got Mavsar via decision here, Clint. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, so I've got the same opinion here on this one. I do like Mobsar by decision, but I don't like it enough to put my money on it, man.
Oh, no
Arnold
way.
Allen. Arnold Allen's a big dude for this weight class. And, you look kind of back at his record. He's got a bunch of knockdowns, and he knocked out Dan Hooker. And I know it says that he knocked out Calvin Kattar on his record, but you know what, though? If you guys remember, that was the weird situation where, like, his knee blew out. There was no actual knockout in that one, because that would have been damn impressive if he had actually knocked out Calvin Kattar, because nobody knocks out Calvin Kattar, but he didn't. So don't look at the record and be fooled by the fact that it says KO over Calvin Kattar. That was a fluke injury situation. So I don't know what to make of this fight, man. This is maybe like, outside of the main event, I am most excited for this fight because I think the next contender of this weight class comes out of these two men. The reason for the size difference, Mavsar actually is a natural 135er. And then when it got too hard for him to make 135, he realized, okay, you know what? I'm a little bit small for 145. So I'm just going to take all the juice. And he bulked himself up to fit 145. And it seems to have done him pretty well. I can't complain about the results. Dude is absolutely massive. He's jacked to all hell. And he just controls, well, he doesn't control people on the ground so much as does like the constant takedown mat return thing. And like you mentioned, Arnold Allen's been fighting nothing but strikers, and the last time he fought anybody who wanted to go for takedowns was a near retirement Nick Lentz, and that's not the same caliber of fighter in my opinion. So I worry a little bit about Mavsar's striking defense. I worry a little bit about Arnold Allen's takedown defense. I like Mavsar Evloev to win this weekend. However, I don't like minus 200. And I know this might be a little like gambling, highbrow type of, thought process, but man, he was minus 200 just a couple days ago. I have yet to see more than one person. I know one guy, one singular person who has bet on Arnold Allen, and that line came down. Everyone is betting Mavsar, and they're like, let's make it minus 185 instead of minus 200. That smells fishy as all get out to me. I think this fight's going to be competitive. It's going to be close. And I really won't be surprised no matter what happens, because if Allen binks him on the chin and sends him flying and takes his O, it's like, okay, Allen's the real deal. And I knew that could happen. If Mavsar grinds on this guy for 15 straight minutes and he never gets a chance to breathe because he's never standing high enough to, get his head above water, that wouldn't surprise me one bit either, because Mavsar is a monster on the mat. I would play Mavsar if I could get like minus 125, minus 130. I don't want to lay minus 185. So picking Mavsar, passing from a bet.
Yeah. Mavsar minus 185 and him by decision, which is absolutely no meat on the bone, is 135. But it's just like you might as well just play him straight up at that point. All right, me and Clint,
no favors.
No, me and Clint both on Mavsar Evloev this week. Up next, we've got the Power Bar, Marc-Andre Barriault, Canada's own, taking on. That's another picture of Marc-Andre Barriault taking on the Action Man, Chris Curtis. And the Action Man is a favorite in Canada. I believe he was the champion of one of the organizations there. I'm not sure. So he fought in Canada a ton. He has tons of fans in Canada. And this surprised me. I thought Marc-Andre Barriault was going to be way bigger, but Action Man sized up very well. The thicker guy and not too much shorter than Power Bar. And look at the head on the man. That's what I like to look at. Who's the bigger guy? Look at the head on the guy. And I think, that being said, I picked Chris Curtis earlier in the week. Didn't have too much confidence in it. But after seeing the weigh-ins here, I love Chris Curtis in this spot. Might even finish Marc-Andre Barriault. Give me Chris Curtis here in this spot. Which way are you going, Clint?
KO, TKO, rounds 2 or 3. I'm right there with you. Action Man all day. That's the biggest bet that I've got this weekend.
Fair enough. Hell yeah, I love it. All right, moving on along. Well, here we go. The featured fight of the night proper, Mike Malott taking on none other than the gatekeeper himself, the only ranked person that UFC gives to the UFC newcomers. He is the Haitian sensation, Neil Magny. If this will load, come on, there you go. Neil Magny coming there looking shredded. I just wish he would either get the transplant, Neil, or let it go, Neil. You're you know, I'm not going to tell him what to do. It is what it is. The Haitian sensation, Neil Magny. Yeah. And once again, I'm not overthinking this one too much. I'm going Mike Malott by sub. I have it parlayed up, and I have Mike Malott round 1 or 2. Yeah, Mike Malott should get Neil Magny out of there. But if he doesn't, shit could get a little shaky, and Neil Magny wouldn't surprise me if he won in 3 or decision. But my official pick for this is Mike Malott sub round 1. How you doing here, Clint?
Yeah, once again, man, there's not a whole lot for me to deny or go against you there. I completely agree. And this week, I kind of teetered back and forth on, maybe Neil is live. Maybe we take a shot. This is a big leap up in competition. But man, the more I think about it, the more I look at it, I'm just like, holy crap. Like, I thought that Magny was going to be a lot bigger. I thought the size differential was going to be there. It's not. And the physicality of Mike Malott, we've seen Neil Magny against these guys. He can't stop the takedowns. And once he's on the mat, he just doesn't got it, man. Like, that's been the MO of people, is climb him like a tree and grab his neck. And Mike Malott's really good at that. He's got a nasty squeeze on him. I will look at live betting this thing, maybe if it gets out of the first round and Mike looks a little worse for the wear. If he takes Magny down but can't tap him, and then Magny gets up and it looks like Mike's breathing heavy, then maybe we jump in live on the Neil Magny side of things. But again, this is a lot like the Jasmine fight. This is a setup for Canada's own. They want Mike Malott to get the win. They're giving him a fighter whose weakness is his best weapon. It really should be Mike Malott by round 1 sub.
Yeah, I hope so. It looks like me and Clint are both on the same side. Mike Malott round 1 sub. And it looks like we got the real one Dre. I'm in Canada. Got to meet Strickland yesterday. I'm at the hotel I'm staying at. Wouldn't it be wild if like this was the guy that like ran up on stage? Any new? You'll have to come back on a card day, Jesus. What's the best bet to place for Strickland versus Plessis? We will get there, brother. We are 2 fights away. Okay, here we go. Next fight, we are at the co-main event. Well, that's Mike Malott there. We have Mayra Bueno Silva, Cheddar, or if you asked Juliana Pena, she is Cheddar. Mayra Bueno Silva. Yeah, up there looking all right. I guess doesn't look like overly. Why is Amanda Nunes there? Doesn't look overly shredded or anything like that. As Clint said, moving up from 125, not recently, but in her past few fights, and she's taken on none other than Rocky Pennington, a vet in the game, been fighting since the beginning in the UFC for the most part, a long time. Has had her title shot. Failed against Amanda Nunes, but we have the face-off here. Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva. I don't know who asked for this fight, to be honest. Competitive fight, possibly, but if you ask me what's going to happen, Mayra Bueno Silva is probably going to, or how about this? Raquel Pennington is going to end up trying to control Mayra Bueno Silva on the fence. Going to end up putting her head in a bad. This fight's going to look exactly like the Holly Holm fight, in my opinion. Mayra Bueno Silva is going to act surprised, like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know I could do that." And then she's going to start crying because that's what she does in every single one of her fights when she wins. For me, I got Mayra Bueno Silva to probably submit Raquel Pennington here, round 2. Which way are you going here, Clint?
Yeah, I've got the same exact prediction once again, man. I hate to be boring. I would like to disagree with you a little bit more. But I do think that this is just a changing of the guard situation. Like, I know Cheddar isn't like some 27-year-old phenom. She is a little older. She is 31, but she is just so much more physical than Rocky Pennington is. And I know that's a weird thing to say because Raquel Pennington has made a career off of bullying chicks around the octagon. Like, she does nothing but back people up, pin them against the fence, and then grind on them. The problem with that is that isn't how you win in modern MMA. You get those cage push fights, and if you're not dealing significant damage or just overloading your opponents with volume, you don't win. They score based off of damage and finishing sequences these days, and that's where I think it's a difference of styles. And Rocky is, as much as I love her, she's my girl. I would love to see Rocky touch gold before the end of her career. I've said that all week long. I think she's a relic of a bygone age. She's not going to hurt Shitara with her hands. Unless she gets her tired and it's like round 4 or 5, she's never going to hurt her with her damaging punches. And she's playing with fire if they go to the ground. So if she stands at range, Mayra Bueno's going to land the harder shots, thus winning her the rounds. And if they're clinching, Chitara's going to land the bigger clinch strikes, winning her that position. And if Rocky pins her up against the fence and holds her there for 2 minutes, the referee and the judges don't give two shits about that anymore, man. I just think that it's a bad style to face this woman. And on top of that, she just beat someone in Holly Holm who was better at that style than Rocky was. I know Holly Holm's getting a little older, but she was always better at exactly that than Raquel Pennington. And Mayra found a way to win. So I'm right there with you. I think she beats her up on the feet a little bit. I think they end up in a scramble at some point. And Rocky's really hard to put away, but there's no escaping that ninja choke once it's locked up, man. I absolutely could see her hitting that front choke the exact same way she did it to Holly Holm. Hurt her, get her to get into a clinch, and then when she's not quite paying attention because she's worried more about the pain, that's a wrap.
Hell yeah, sounds good to me. Me and Clint are both in the same spot. And don't forget, y'all, Shitara could or could not be on steroids. You know, I'm not going to make any allegations here. But, you know, she was just popped for an ADHD medication. But, you know, she's from Brazil. And, you know, doctors have little things there, you know. Up next, the main event of the evening. I know me and Clint are probably going to be on the same side here. Possibly because we just aren't the biggest fan of Sean Strickland as a whole, but we do have Dricus du Plessis, still Knox taking on man, this dude is shredded up there. If there's something that smells like steroids, it's this right here. But hey, you know, hasn't been popped yet and just absolutely jacked up there. And it explains why he treated Robert Whitaker the way that he treated him. He is taking on no longer Tarzan. He doesn't want to be called Tarzan anymore, but he's taking on Sean Strickland. Let's get our weigh-in photo here. I guess he didn't get on the scale. All right. Or I guess that was the okay.
Yeah, it was super weird. He stayed like a good 5 feet away.
Yeah, I don't know. That's come on. Come on, internet. You got it. You got it. Just give me a load. You know, MMA junkie, you know, their site doesn't want to load. There we go. Yeah, it looks like Dricus du Plessis, but going to have about an inch height advantage, but just the size advantage on him is what I'm thinking is the big takeaway. I mean,
can you believe this guy came up a weight class?
I know. He there's Sean Strickland also looks like damn, imagine him trying to make 170 like again too. That would be tough. But Dricus is absolutely mind-blowing. That's like Michel Pereira, like being like that guy made 170. It's crazy to think that, Clint. And I personally think Dricus comes in here, body lock Sean Strickland, trips him, takes him down, and controls him the first round. And Sean Strickland can't do anything, and he ends up finishing Sean Strickland in either the late second or early third round. Give me Dricus du Plessis and new this week to finish the champion, Sean Strickland. At in odds this week, Clint, what happened? Because currently Dricus minus 108, Sean Strickland minus 112, but I saw Dricus plus 150 earlier in the week. He was a legit underdog earlier in the week, and then that line is just completely gone.
That line is about to flip, my friend. He may even close the favorite at this rate. I like Drickus. I've liked Drickus. I called him to be the next champion. I called him to be the next champion when he was facing Israel Adesanya, not Sean Strickland. I've been on the Drickus train for quite some time. Had to double down, had to go back to it. And I know that Sean has the cardio, and I know he's not scared of anybody, and he just wants to go out there and fight. But it's a lot similar to like the Chris Curtis situation, man. He's got a style that is reliant on moving forward. What happens when he walks into a brick wall? Like, you can't walk forward on Dricus. When these two guys meet in the center of the cage, one of them is not going to be able to push the other one back. And I simply think Sean will not be able to walk down Dricus, because the Adesanya fight, Sean Strickland's style works so well because Adesanya has no problem skating the outside of the cage and kind of moving backwards and trying to set up counters, and that just doesn't work against Sean. So if you go car crash style, I'm going to take the guy who's built for a car crash. Dricus, he pulled off what I like to call the full rumble. You move up a weight class and you're still the bigger man and you're still a size bully even after you move up. Now, technically, the full rumble is doing that in 2 weight classes. If you guys remember Anthony Rumble Johnson going from 170 to 205 and still being just a monster at 205, that's kind of what I feel like this guy physically is capable of. So Sean Strickland, I believe he fought at 170 way back in the day himself. So both these guys have moved up over the course of their career. And you can see right there, just when they face off, the sheer size difference. Dricus is a monster. I think he was going to take out Izzy. I think he's going to take out Sean. I don't care who's on the other side of him right now. That man is going to have gold wrapped around his waist, and new tomorrow, man, Dricus du Plessis. I would not be at all surprised either if he did it by sub. I know the way that we've seen Sean actually lose has been by knockout, but Dricus's squeeze is something that is so nasty. If he wobbles Sean Strickland, I could see him getting on top of him and grabbing a neck. Now, by that same token, I could see him just like jumping straight into mount or something and just punching until the referee says uncle. So it could be over anyway, but either way, I think Dricus is finishing.
All right, me and you are both on the same side. And dude, like, you see him at the official weigh-in like this morning. He looked ready to go. He was energized. He's like, do you see how good I look? Like, it was like, I've never, the opposite of Sean Strickland, walking up there, that last pound sucks, guys, like he always does. Me and Clint both on Drickus du Plessis this week. Hopefully we hear and new, and we can all cash our bets for this weekend. So with that being said, Clint, I don't know if you want to share any bets. I'm going to share my bets with everyone. I'm not going to hold you up if you have somewhere else to be. You've been here for an hour, so I don't want to, hold you up if you have other things to do. But I'm going to share my bets with the chat real quick, and and then we will do the change to Cheddars, and we will get out of here. So just a quick recap from last week. Every single bet that I made last week was right here. All of them ended up losing because either Waldo Cortez Acosta or Tom Nolan. And that's what I get for betting Tom Nolan and Waldo Cortez Acosta. The one bet that did save us was the Bruno for a round 1 knockout, and we kept it. So, that kind of saved us. So from the end of the week, we were only down $35. So this week we are starting. Where is it at? This week. Okay, that's last week. Here we go. All right. So our DraftKings bets this week. My only DraftKings bet this week is the one that Clint has probably made me regret betting. So you guys probably shouldn't bet this. I'm telling you right now, you shouldn't bet this. This is my only DraftKings that's not a change to Cheddar parlay. We have Jillian Robertson versus Polyana Viana to go to a split decision at plus 700. I put $10 on it to win 80. At the end of the day, I put $10 on it. Believe me, I've spent $10 on way worse things. So we will move on to my FanDuel bets. Right here, we do have we have 4 FanDuel bets this week. All 4 are parlays. One's a 5-leg, one's a 6-leg. We got a 3-leg and a 2-leg. The 6-leg, starting off the 5-leg all the way to our left side is a plus 534 right under where it says FanDuel bets. We've got Jasmine at a minus 400. I probably made this a little bit earlier in the week. Yeah, this was our leftover from our 64.50. So the one all the way to the left here is our $4.50 bet to win $28. We got Jasmine, Johan, Surrey City, Mike Malott, and Mario Bueno Silva to win $28. Not the biggest one. I was just trying to get rid of that $4.50, but also, still have some decent track bets in here. The one in the middle here, 6 leg, is a plus 851. We got Jasmine, Johan Lanus, Surrey City, Brad Katona, Mike Malott, and Mario Bueno Silva. $10 on that to win $95.12. And our 2 little ones over here on the side, you guys probably can't see it, but it's a $20 parlay on a 3 leg. We got Jasmine, Mike Malott, and Mario Bueno Silva. $20 on that to win $49.94. And lastly, the 2 leg here in the bottom right corner, I really like this one. I think this one hits. I put $15 on a 2 leg at plus 605, Mike Malott and Mario Bueno Silva to both win by submission to win $105.75. So that's probably the one that I feel most confident on. It's probably because it has the least legs on it. And when I start stacking the 6, 9 legs, you don't feel confident in it. And the worst thing in the world, Clint, is when you get 8 legs into a 10 leg parlay and then you feel confident on the last 2, they're minus 600. They're minus 400, and they shit the bed. You just feel awful.
It's always the leg that you're most confident in that's in every parlay. That's the one that loses. I don't know how they do it. I don't know why, but it's always, for me at least, the one that is just like, I put this one single play in every single one of my bets. I changed it up over here, but never took that one out. That's the one that loses.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So our two change to Cheddars this week, $5 on each one. I've got one on DraftKings, mostly because they had the boost and they let me boost it up. So I put $5 on this DraftKings. It is $5 to win $187. So if you're not using that DraftKings boost, you're missing out. I think I got it like a plus 65% boost, so kind of helped out a little bit. It is $5 to win $187. And we had the Jimmy Flick versus Malcolm Gordon fight to start round 2 at minus 175. We've got the Jasmine Jasdavicius versus Priscilla Cachoeira to go over a round and a half at minus 300. Super chalky. It's going to taste awful if you try to bite that. We've got Johan Lanus versus Sam Patterson to start round 2. This is one that I was like, you know what? Maybe let me not put Johan Lanus winning on all these fights. This is one where I caught myself this week, Clint. I was like, if I bet Johan Lanus by finishing every one of these fights and he loses, I'm going to feel like a fucking idiot. So I have this fight starting round 2, so if our other ones don't hit, hopefully this one will hit. We've got the Surrey City versus Ramon Tavares fight to go under 2.5 rounds. I think one of those dudes is going to end up banking the other one. We've got Brad Katona versus Garrett Armfield to start round 3, and hopefully Brad Katona just does Brad Katona things and just controls at least until the 3rd round. We've got Chris Curtis money line, our only money line on this entire parlay, and I did make this after the weigh-ins just because I felt fantastic about Chris Curtis, especially at a minus 185. And lastly, the Raquel Pennington versus Mario Bueno Silva fight to go over 3.5 rounds. And this is also kind of our savior parlay because in everything else, I have Mario Bueno Silva finishing Raquel Pennington. So I'm kind of hoping that if our other ones aren't hitting, then this one ends up hitting. And our last one this week, our Big Daddy on Fanduel, $5 to win $1,194.70. And this is basically all the fights that I feel fantastic about this week. All the ones that I think this is exactly how this fight should go. So, these are the ones that I'll either feel fantastic about and end up hitting or feel awful about once I end up losing it because, I felt so great about it and it just didn't work out. So we got $5 to win $1,194 is a plus 23,794. We got Jasmine 3 or decision at minus 155. We have Johan Lanus knockout round 1 or 2. We've got Surrey City knockout round 1 or 2. Brad Katona 3 or decision. We got Mobstar straight up. It looks like I got him at minus 194 on FanDuel. So under 200, not awful. And then we got Mike Malott round 2, just in case he does end up binking Neil Magny. Instead of submitting him, I wanted to catch myself there because I know how Mike Malott by subbing a lot. And lastly, finishing out with Mario Bueno Silva by submission. So $5 on that to win over $1,000. So, at the end of the day, I probably bet. I actually have exactly what I bet. We started off, So we started off this week with 90. We started off last week with $106. We put $15 in the Draftkings to make our 2 bets here today. And we have $54.50 in Fanduel. And we are ending out with a total of $69. Nice. And 50 cents in bets. So we don't bet a ton of money over here because I can't afford to. I would rather much save my money and do other smart things.
That is
with
smart,
it.
man. That is smart. Hey, people want to unit shame and make a big deal about not slinging hundreds and thousands of dollars around. But I'll be honest with you, saving your money and doing this for funsies and having a little giggle when you win $50, like that's probably the smartest way you could ever possibly approach it.
Yeah. Yeah, my biggest win ever, Clint. I $2.50 on a 9-leg. I win like $894. And I've done it quite a few times. Like not that much, a few times, but the $5 to $500, the $10 to $200. I've done that quite a few times. And it's like if I can just do that once every 2 or 3 months, it pays off in the end, and I'm just having fun with it. Yeah. So with that being said, every single week I like to give away UFC cards. So Clint, I truly apologize, man. I didn't know you were. I didn't know if you wanted to be here for all of this, but
it's all
you're
good, man. I figured I'd write
yeah.
it out. If you had any other questions
Yeah.
or you wanted a pick or something, I can hang. But you know what though, if you're gonna do your giveaway and you'll do your thing, I can always sign off and get out of your way so you can do your thing.
More of me just showing what the giveaway is for this week. Clint, I'm gonna let you pick the fight though. I had it in my head that I was going to do like the main event, but what we do here is for the weeks for our members here on the channel, we pick a fight and I put a little screenshot up on my community tab. I'll see if I can share like I did last week. It'll be a lot easier. Share this instead. Yeah. So on my community tab, just like we did here last week, for the members, we put up, well, that's me putting cards on eBay. We put up, well, that's a bet that I put up. We put up this right here, predict the fight for our members. Make the rules. Let me make sure this is actually sharing so you guys can see this. It's not sharing. That's exactly the issue. There we go. So on the community tab last week, right down here, wow, this is really not loading. So on the community tab last week, we put the screenshot up of Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Said predict a fight. Only one winner, and the members on the channel did their best to predict the fight as to what was going to happen, and we our members here on the channel guessed their guesses, and our winner last week here was Nate Craig when he did go Magomed Ankalaev KO round 2 around the 2-minute mark. So Nate Craig was the winner for last week's cards. So I'm going to do that again this week. I'm going to let Clint pick the fight though. Clint, what fight do the members predict this week to win either? Oh, hold on. Let me get my other camera flipped around here. To win either this red disco Polyana Viana, this Mavsar Evloev silver disco, this purple out of 149 Mavsar Evloev, orange Action Man Chris Curtis rookie card out of 99, a Glover Teixeira autograph, and a Matt Serra from this year's Immaculate out of 99. You can take all of those cards if you predict correctly, or you can pick this 2023 sealed optic blaster box. So those are your options if you pick correctly. Well, let me see if we can get back up here. Oh, is it really not going to work for me? Don't do this. Don't do this. Let me turn this off and turn it back
Gotta
on.
love technical difficulties.
Yeah, right. But Clint, those are the options for the winners to choose from. Is it really doing this to me right now? What out of all the fights from this weekend, what is the fight that you think that the members should have to pick correctly this weekend?
Now, do they have to pick like round and method, or they just pick
Uh,
in? How does that work?
So what I asked is they do round and there we go. Nice. Winner here, let me get so I can just to make sure. What I ask rules, make your prediction for the fight, winner, round, method, and the person who predicts correctly the outcome of the fight will have the choice of the winner, will have the choice of the prizes. So and I asked if they, pick a decision, they try to put a score, or if they pick like the finish, try to put the time just in case there's
For
a
tiebreakers?
there's a tie. And if there's still a tiebreaker, then we go to our loyal duck race, and we get all the people that are closest, and we duck race it out, and whoever wins, so just win. So that's for the members. So if you guys aren't a member here on the channel and you would like to be, it's $5 a month here on the channel, or you can be a golden member. And we have a exclusive one only for the golden members at the end of the month where we have cool cards. Clint, this is a UFC card channel. If you haven't noticed yet, and that's kind of where this kind of grew from. And I just love UFC altogether. And
I love it.
People open Pokemon cards. I open UFC cards.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I grew up playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'm right there with you, man. I've got that card junkie nature built into me all these years. So you know what though? How could I do anything but select Jillian Robertson versus Polyana Viana? I mean,
Okay.
I know there's bigger fish to fry, but when my girl Jillian is fighting and you and I can't agree on the method of the fight, we don't even agree on the over-under, that's the one. The people have got to decide. They got to figure out how that one's going to end.
Hell yeah. All right. So Clint has decided the result for this upcoming weekend's giveaway, predict the fight, if you will, is going to be Jillian Robertson versus Polyana Viana. So after this live, keep an eye out on the community tab for the little face off between the two, predict the fight. And if you guys want either all the cards that I just showed you or the blaster, predict the fight correctly, and you can win them right here live on Monday. I'll be here 9 o'clock live on Monday, and you guys will see who wins. So with that being said, Clint, let me catch up on the chat because I know a lot of people are excited that you're here. And we got Grace. Hi, I'm a big fan of you. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Grace. I don't know if you're telling me that to me or Clint, but if you're a fan of Clint, I'm sure he appreciates you as well. We got Strickland was struggling to keep an eye on Drakus. Interesting. And then has to be DDP. Everyone going DDP in the chat for the most part. Hair. Oh goodness, y'all are wild. Dude, I agree with you. I think DDP gets it done early. New champ. Okay, wasn't that too long ago? Alex steamrolled Strickland. Yeah, wow. We got Papa Chuck in here. So Papa Chuck was probably one of my first subscribers, Clint. And he says, Clint and Matt in the same chat. Hell yeah. Best of luck to both of y'all this weekend. So kind of wild seeing Papa Chuck, because I've seen Papa Chuck in yours and Wheezy's chat. So that's kind of wild to
that's what's up,
to see Papa Chuck in here. Indeed, we are spoiled. Yeah. So that is everything. The whole show this week, y'all. Changed to Cheddar. Gave y'all every single bet that I have personally made this week. So if you want to tell me, feel free. If you want to laugh at me for making terrible bets, feel free. But keep in mind that I'm not betting a lot of money, because at the end of the day, it's a fist fight and anything can happen. And if you are putting thousands of dollars on this, hopefully you are not putting your rent money on this, because
you better know what the hell you're doing.
I feel sorry for you. Yeah. With that being said, yeah, my name is Clint. I mean, my name's not Clint. My name is Matt. Clint is on that side of your screen. This has been Change to Cheddar on the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. Clint, let the people know all the places they can find you before we get out of here. And I'll be sure to put, your little link to your channel. And I'm not sure if I'll put the Pub Sports Radio, but I'll at least put, yours to the diehard.
No sweat, man. Well. No sweat at all. So yeah, every single Monday you can find me live on Pub Sports Radio. That's on YouTube. You can find me the diehard MMA podcast on any social media platform. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter, X, Instagram, whatever you want to call them, all of them. Facebook. I made a Facebook for my mom's sake. So I'm on all of them. Find me there. I post links to all my content pretty much everywhere you go. And man, I just want to say thank you very much. This was an absolute blast. And again, I appreciate you having me.
Hell yeah. One thing that I've always kind of noticed, like on your show, I don't want to take digs at anyone that you have out on your show, but it's like you'll kind of say something and there's like a little bit of awkward silence, and I'm like, you're just gonna leave him hanging? Like you're not even gonna feed into what he just said. There's like, I was like, I will, if I ever have Clint on my show, I will never do that. Yeah, with that being said, my name is Matt this time. Yeah, I'm not Clint. Clint is on that side of the screen. We truly appreciate all of y'all for stopping by here tonight. Hit that thumbs up button if y'all haven't already. Support your boys. With that being said, we'll catch all y'all later, and we truly appreciate y'all for stopping by here. Catch y'all later. Peace.